Standing in the Sun by solmussa. Catch it, Pats! The dog sprints across the lawn so fast he's barely a black blur against the bright green early summer grass. It takes Regulus a moment to notice the considerably smaller but even faster brown blur darting ahead of it. It appears Padfoot is chasing something again. This time, Regulus hopes for this sake of everyone involved it's not a pixie. That wasn't fun last time. Catch, catch, catch! Harry claps his hands, laughing so hard he snorts, legs kicking wildly from where he's safely trapped to legs kicking wildly from where safely trapped in his pram. There's dried chocolate around his mouth, like he ate an ice cream and James didn't have the best job at wiping it off. At just a little over 2 years old, Harry's rather chubby, the baby fat making his leg look scrumptious. Sometimes Regulus has the mad urge to pinch his thighs, cute aggression, people call it. Regulus is utterly disgusted with himself for having learned the term. Go, go, go! Harry is shouting, cheering so violently the entire pram shakes with his every move. His small fist close above his head with excitement. Regulus suspects he's not 100% control in his body right now, too absorbed with the antics of the black dog he's commanding. But that's thoughtless for you. Behind Harry, James looks like he's on the verge of collapsing from lack of oxygen from how hard he's laughing. Nose scrunched up, glasses a little too crooked, apples of his cheeks glinting in the early morning sun. He braced one hand on the handle, with the other he's holding a cup of coffee. Father and son's attention entirely focused on the unhinged dog dawdling madly across the uncouth lawn. They're closer now, and Regulus can see that Padfoot is attempting to catch a squirrel. It's ridiculous on several accounts. Firstly, because that dog is not actually his dog, actually a dog. It's his brother. A grown-ass man, a war hero, believe it or not. Secondly, because in what universe did Padfoot think he could ever catch a squirrel? He is a large, heavy dog. Never in a history of dogs has one of them actually caught a freaking squirrel. The little devils are as fast as snitches, and Sirius might be a decent beater, but he lacks the reflexes and grace of a seeker. Honestly, sometimes Regulus wonders how they both came from the same woman. To the surprise of literally no one, the squirrel makes it to the tree line and sprints up the large trunk, leaving the dog whining after it. Padfoot scratches the base of the tree, tongue lolling out of the side of his snout before letting out a long howl of disappointment. In his pram, Harry harumphs and twists in his seat to look at his father. He didn't catch. Yes, well, James says, fighting to keep a natural expression. Maybe Padfoot shouldn't be chasing animals, Harry. Let the squirrel live in peace. The dog makes his way back to Regulus's husband and his son, tail tucked between his legs. Regulus snores quietly, watching the concrete dog face his master with sad puppy eyes. But I wanted it, Harry was saying. And what were you going to do with it? Harry does a squeezing motion with his fingers, and Regulus can't help but the startled laughter that escapes him. A bird takes flight above him, scared by the raspy chortle. From his spot by the shade of the tree, Regulus watches Harry stretch a small body as far as it will go in his palm until the chubby fingers fist on the long dog's furs and he yanks. Padfoot whines, but Harry pouts and says, Circles, go in circles, Pats. Padfoot obeys, and Regulus wonders why Sirius can't be half as dutiful as Padfoot is. Life would certainly be easier if Sirius simply did as told. He knows for a fact Remus agrees with this. and yet no one seems to have managed to tame the rebel inside Sirius except for this little cat. Perhaps it's just that Harry has superpowers. Shaking his head, Regulus steps out of the tree line and begins to make his way towards his husband as to his towards his husband, as the dog that is also his brother chases his own tail like an absolute idiot. Regulus's cloak billows around his feet, his boots stained from the mud from the mission he just completed. It's too hot here, but the chill of the late spring clung in the air in Ottawa. There is blood on his shirt, and his knuckles are bruised, but he hopes Harry is too young to know what that means. Regulus hasn't had time for himself yet. He didn't want to apparate into the house, and he's come from the park directly to Canada. More! Again! Circles! Harry is hanging halfway out of the pram, arms in the air as he cheers at the dog. He's laughing. That airy, high-pitched laugh small kids have, that's free and pure and contagious. James is laughing too, eyes scrunched behind his glasses, and cheeks round and full from the grin on his face as Sirius, or Padfoot, enters. So fast, Regulus is getting motion sickness just from watching. Now stop, Harry commands, one arm stretched out in front of him and his palm up like he's a policeman controlling traffic. Padfoot barks, jumps up from his forepaw and licks Harry's face. Harry throws his arms around Padfoot's neck, giggling. James's eyes are closed when Regulus reaches him. Gently he nudges his husband. You let your guard down again. Rick! James yelps, jerking around so harshly his coffee cup goes flying. Regulus waves his wand and gets the coffee back into James's hand before pressing a kiss on his lips. War is over. Everything's fine. It's just a park. We're having a lovely time. He presses another kiss to the corner of his mouth and muttered low enough that Regulus has to strain his ear to hear it. We're safe now. It's safe. You can relax. Yes? Eyes closed, Regulus nods once, twice. Yes. I love you. There's a whine, a bark, and then Padfoot's power on Regulus's trousers, which is unacceptable. Get off me right this second, you filthy beast! Uncle Rick! Harry screeches. Padfoot gets down, growling at Regulus. He rolls his eyes and crouches by the small toddler. Hey, Has, having fun? Yes! Harry shouts, absolutely delighted to have more of an audience. Reg, look, Pat can do circles. Very solemnly, Harry leans forward again and says, Padfoot, show Uncle Reg circles. The dog is helpless against Harry's huge green eyes. It's hard for Regulus not to laugh hysterically as his brother begins to chase his own tail again, looking like an absolute lunatic. Harry giggles and cheers, urging him on. Harry, do you want to run around for a bit? James asks after a while, likely to give Padfoot a moment of respite. Yes. No circles. You are not a dog. This visibly upsets Harry, who pouts and blinks at his father like he's hoping he'll change his mind. Knowing James, it's likely he will, so Regulus steps around him and looks down at the kid. You're not a dog, Has. We've talked about this. Okay, he says, defeated. No circles. Shaking his head, James unwraps Harry and sets him down on the grass. Regulus watches him trail after Padfoot further into the lawn, where a bunch of pigeons are chilling, completely oblivious to the chaos that's about to be unleashed upon them. Together, Harry and Padfoot jump right into the middle of it, scaring the pigeons into a frantic flight that leaves a dust of feathers in its wake. Harry laughs so hard he falls on his butt and tips sideways until his head is on the grass, still giggling hysterically. "How was Canada?" James asked, sliding a hand down Regulus's waist. "I missed you." "Easy pickings," Regulus replies, pressing a kiss into James's mouth. His eyes never leave Harry and Padfoot, and it's a good thing because suddenly there are two more dogs running towards them. Regulus springs into action, one drawn and face pulled back into a snarl before James knows what's happening. Heart beating fast, Regulus is about to descend on the dogs to protect his kid when James's hand catches his cloak and yanks him back. "Wait! They're friends! They're safe! That's Molly and Bear." "Who?" James gestures to the other end of the park. There's a figure casually strolling, not the care in the world, and two dogs leash dangling from their hands. Regulus frowns. He doesn't think he's ever seen the person before. Sighing so hard it makes his lips flap, James says, "That's Ash, our neighbor. He's the owner of the dog. A very lovely guy. The dogs are extremely well trained, and they know Harry. We play with them sometimes." Regulus's eyes narrow, but he pockets his wand. He's never made any effort to get to know anyone in the surrounding area for the cottage, but James knows the entire village of Limregis. Ash waves his hand in greeting that James returns with a shout. "Good morning, Ash!" The two dogs have reached Harry and Padfoot. On the Regulus's watch, they jump up and down around the toddler, lick his face a bit, then encourage a wrestling match with Padfoot, who seems entirely too eager to be involved for someone who isn't an actual dog. "Is Ash a muggle?" Regulus asks. "I'm not sure," James replies. He glances down at his coffee cup he's been holding and offers it to Rug. "I've never asked him." "James," Regulus groans, taking the coffee. It's too sweet, but Regulus is tired, so he drinks it anyway. "You need to be more careful. What if he's dangerous?" "He's not. He's perfectly normal. He's a perfectly normal, friendly neighbor." "You need to be more careful, James." "You mean paranoid, and no, I don't. The war is over," James repeats, pressing a kiss to Regulus's temple, drawing him against his body. It's been 3 years, and Regulus still finds himself melting into the heat of him. James is still a fucking furnace. Regulus loves him so much he feels it doesn't fit in his body. "The war is over," Regulus mutters, relaxing into his husband. "But I still have blood on my shirt." "That's because you, my love, have very special skills that the ministry needs," James says. Regulus looks away, mouth a tight line. He has therapy this afternoon. He might have to bring this up because Regulus can't tell if he's being unreasonable or if James is just being James. Nudging his face with a gentle finger, James tilts Regulus's face up to look at him. "We're not in danger anymore. You made sure of that. You went there to hell and walked straight through it with your chin raised high. You looked the devil in the eye and killed him. All so we would be safe. We are safe. I won't live the rest of our lives jumping at every shadow. I won't let you. No more shadows, Reg." It's hard work, healing after what they went through. Regulus doesn't think he would have it in him to try if it weren't for James and Harry. But they're his, and he's theirs. And as he looks at the kid chasing the 3 dogs, scaring pigeons and kicks and giggles, Regulus finds himself releasing a breath he's been holding. "We stand in the sun now," he mutters. James smiles and kisses him. Then they break apart. James slides his hand into Regulus's hand and squeezes. "We stand in the sun." "Uncle Reg!" "What's up, Has?" Harry runs up so fast he doesn't calculate the distance and probably ends up chasing against Regulus's leg. Looking up a bit dazed, Harry says, Uncle Sirius told me I could ride Padfoot like a horse. Help? I told you that wasn't. James starts, but Regulus will not miss this chance. He scoops Harry up and strides across the grass to where Uncle Padfoot waits, looking at him a bit warily, but unmoving. There, Regulus sets Harry on Padfoot's back, checking that his tiny hands were safely secured in the fur. If you drop him, I will hurt you. Padfoot makes a noise halfway to a growl and then takes off in a trot. Molly and Bear watch, confused, but they simply join on either side of him and escort Harry to his victory lap around the lawn. I love you, but you need to stop enabling Harry, as James tells him half-heartedly. That's your job, Regulus says, shrugging. You're the parent, I'm the cool rich uncle. James looks at him for a long moment, then tucks him in for a kiss. That you are. And they turn to watch Harry boss Sirius around like a tiny tyrant on Wood, his horse. Thank you for watching. I find this one very cute. Honestly, Harry is just adorable. I love baby Harry fics, they're so cute. I hope you enjoyed this one. Have a very nice day. Oh, I put, of course, the link in the description so you can give kudos to the author. As I said, have a very nice day. Bye.